Located in Pilgrim Memorial State Park on the shore of Plymouth Harbor, this simple glacial erratic boulder has become a world-famous symbol, representing something different to each person who looks at it. Although no historical evidence exists to confirm Plymouth Rock is the Pilgrims' actual stepping stone to the New World, the boulder was identified at this spot in 1741, 121 years after the arrival of the Mayflower. Thomas Founts, a 94-year-old church elder, who said his father had arrived in Plymouth in 1623, assured him the boulder was his exact landing spot. Plymouth Rock quickly became an American icon and a tangible monument to freedom. Nearly 4 centuries after the arrival of the Pilgrims, Plymouth Rock is viewed by more than 1 million people and visitors each year.
Hey folks, come on in.
Cool, man, like a big heavy rock.
Gather around. We used to have a team called the Patriots. Did you know that?
What's that?
I said we used to have a team called the Patriots.
Oh, we still do.
We do?
We'll be back this year.
Alrighty folks, you cannot leave Plymouth without seeing the highlight of Plymouth. There it is, people, Plymouth Rock. Kind of takes your breath away, doesn't it? Okay, look, here's the deal with Plymouth Rock. Tens of thousands of people come to Plymouth every single year just to see that rock. And I have to be honest, when most of them show up, they are somewhat underwhelmed. But if you know some of the stories, it makes it better. In the 1700s, the town of Plymouth was going to build a pier over that rock. The elder of the church, Elder Fons, walked 3 miles to say goodbye to Plymouth Rock. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a big deal, but keep in mind, Elder Fons was 95 years old when he walked those 3 miles. Poor man reached the rock, he had tears in his eyes. Folks in town looked at him and said, "Hey, Elder Fons, what's the big deal? It's a rock." He said, "Oh no, that's not a rock, that's the rock. That's where the Pilgrims stepped when they got off the Mayflower." Well, the folks looked at him again and said, "How do you know that?" He said, "For crying out loud, I'm 95 years old. I knew them, they told me that." And he was such a man of high character and integrity, everybody believed him. We never built the pier. I, for one, also believe him. I do believe that's where the Pilgrims stepped when they got off the Mayflower. However, I will assume most of you will agree with me. They must have got out in single file. You might also notice the crack in the rock. That happened during the Revolutionary War. During the Revolution, the men in Plymouth, we didn't want to go to war. So how are you going to get us clowns to sign up? Here's the deal. We're going to take Plymouth Rock, put it in the back of a wagon, bring it up to Town Square, put it next to the Liberty Pole. Get the men to rally around the rock and Liberty Pole, sign up and go to war. Not a bad idea. Put the rock in the wagon on the way to Town Square. Nobody was touching Plymouth Rock. It snapped in half. Well, the guy in the wagon looks at it and says, "Wow, the rock split. That must be an omen. That means we should split from England." So they left half the rock on the beach, called it the British half, took the other half to Town Square, called it the American half. All the men rallied around the American half, signed up and went off to war. Hey folks, you see the big half? American half.
That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it was cool.
I love how I based it off of the fact that a rock.
Yeah.
Folks,
And we got
to
the
us in
better
Plymouth,
half.
the size is more the symbolism. On our 300th anniversary, a young man came to Plymouth and made this statement about Plymouth Rock. He said, "Plymouth Rock does not mark a beginning or an end. It marks a revelation that is without beginning and without end, a purpose, shining through eternity like a resplendent light, undimmed even by the imperfections of men. A response, a purposeful answer from those who, oblivious to all else, were simply searching for an avenue for the immortal soul." That young man, John Calvin Coolidge, at the time governor of Massachusetts, eventually president of the United States. So folks, when y'all go home next week and you play in Jeopardy and history comes up, who's the only president to be named after John Calvin? That would be Calvin Coolidge. Folks, to the mother, everybody else, enjoy the rock.
Thank you.